You're in a waiting room, no window worth looking out, a clock on the wall, a stack of magazines from 2 years ago, and your phone is dead. So you sit there, and within about 90 seconds, something starts to itch. A restlessness, a pressure building behind your eyes that says do something, anything, just not this. It almost hurts. Here's what's strange about that. Nothing is wrong. You're safe, warm, fed, in no danger at all. By every measure, your body should be calm. So why does sitting still and doing nothing feel like a low-grade form of pain? Because boredom isn't the absence of something. It's a program your brain is running on purpose. By the end of this, you'll see that boredom is one of the oldest alarms in your head, and that we've just done something to it that no humans before us could ever do. Let's start with what boredom actually is. Ask people to define boredom and they'll say it's having nothing to do. But that's not it. You can have 1,000 things to do and be bored out of your mind, and you can do almost nothing. Sit by a fire, watch the sea, and feel perfectly content. Researchers who study this describe boredom a different way. It's the feeling of wanting to be mentally engaged and not being able to find anything that grips you. Your attention is reaching out for something to lock onto and sliding off everything it touches. Boredom isn't empty. It's a hunger that can't find food. And like hunger, it's not there to torture you. It's there to make you move. That itch makes the present moment feel unbearable enough that you'll get up and change it. And many researchers argue that's the whole point, that boredom is a signal built into us that says, this, right now, is a waste of you. Go find something better. The idea is that a creature that could sit contentedly in a dull, unrewarding situation forever would lose. It wouldn't explore. It wouldn't try the next valley, the new tool, the unfamiliar idea. So boredom evolved to make idleness feel wrong, to push us with discomfort toward novelty and effort. It's an alarm, and an alarm only works if it's loud enough to be annoying. So, how far will a person go just to make the boredom stop? The answer is one of the most unsettling experiments in modern psychology. A group of researchers ran a study that sounds almost too simple. They put people alone in a plain room. No phone, no book, nothing to do. Just sit for up to 15 minutes and think. That's the entire task. Be alone with your own mind. But there was one object in the room, a button. And that button delivered a real, painful electric shock. In fact, before the experiment, the same people had felt the shock and said they would pay money to never feel it again. You'd assume nobody touches it. 15 minutes of quiet versus deliberately hurting yourself. It's not a contest, right? Except it was. Left alone with nothing but their thoughts, a large share of people started shocking themselves. Around 2/3 of the men and 1/4 of the women pressed the button to feel pain rather than sit in the boredom. One man, left alone for 15 minutes, shocked himself nearly 200 times. People chose physical pain, a thing they just said they'd pay to avoid, over the experience of being quietly, unremarkably bored. That is how badly the brain wants out of that room. The alarm is so loud that pain can feel like relief. Which raises the obvious question. If boredom is that unbearable, what happens when you finally invent a way to switch it off completely? Because we did. It's in your pocket right now. For all of human history, boredom was a state you had to pass through. Waiting, walking, lying awake, there was no exit. You sat in the discomfort until it pushed you to do something, or until your mind, with nothing else to chew on, started to wander and invent. That wandering, the restless, bored, daydreaming mind, is where a lot of planning and imagining and figuring things out happened. Now the exit is instant. The second the itch begins, in the queue, the lift, the gap between two sentences, your hand finds the phone, and a feed engineered to never bore you pours in. The discomfort is gone in under 2 seconds, and we do it dozens, hundreds of times a day. It feels like a free win, no more boredom. But look at what boredom was for. It was the alarm telling you your attention was being wasted, the pressure that pushed you towards something better. A new idea, a hard task, a wandering thought that might have gone somewhere. Researchers who study this call it the bright side of boredom. The discomfort was the engine. It drove you to create, to explore, to change your situation. We didn't fix the thing the alarm was warning about. We just keep hitting snooze. We tell ourselves boredom is the enemy, the dead time to be killed. But boredom was never the problem. It was the smoke detector. For as long as we've been human, researchers think, it sat in our heads shrieking whenever our attention was being wasted, driving us up and out, to the next valley, the next tool, the next question nobody had asked. On this view, the restless mind that couldn't stand sitting still is part of what pushed us to explore. The squirm you feel in that waiting room may be one of the oldest and most important engines our species has. And we've built something that makes it stop without having to move or think. We didn't put out the fire, we took the batteries out of the detector, and we feel calmer for it, sitting in a room that's quietly filling with smoke. So the next time you're stuck somewhere dull and your hand drifts toward your phone to make the feeling go away, pause, just for a second, and feel it. That itch is not a malfunction. It's a signal that's older than language, telling you, the way it told everyone who came before you, you were built to do more than this. The tools to silence it have never been so good. But the question it's asking has never changed.